And joining me, as always, is your co-host, Jim.
Ink spots.
There's a reason he said that. And your co-host, Hunter.
Yeah, I'm just here for the cake.
There's cake?
Cake?
Yeah, I was told there was cake. Is there cake? Where's the
Ooh,
cake?
cake.
You guys talk. I'll be back in like 20 minutes. I gotta run to
Bake a
I gotta
cake.
run to Ralph's. You guys probably don't have Ralph's
You
out
knew we
there.
were coming. You should have baked the cake.
It's gonna be that kind of show, folks. But we do have a guest this week. Oh, where are you? "Quote unquote" calling from, Herb?
Oh, I'm based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I've been to Pittsburgh. I'm from Philly, so we have nothing but disdain for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Urban rednecks. Yeah.
As you
The
as
Cleveland
you know,
Browns, man,
You guys-
forever.
you guys call it
Is-
pop out there, which I have a everlasting problem with.
Remember that time when the Browns won? Once?
Isn't that Isn't Browns Cleveland?
Yeah, man. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, they're like...
They're
the-
not that tight. They're not. No.
No, they get along great. They try to kill each other like twice a year.
I was gonna say Pennsylvania people hate Ohio people. What are you talking
Of
about?
course. That's why we get along so well.
And we hate New Jersey people, and we even hate other Pennsylvanians. Like in between Pittsburgh and Philly, you have Pennsyltucky.
Yeah.
And we
so
hate
perhaps
those
you're just the
assholes.
intolerant Amish.
We you know what? We have no problem with the Amish really because they make awesome food and wood products, and they come to farmers markets. So we really don't have a problem. The only time you have a problem with the Amish is if you're stuck behind a horse and buggy on a one-lane road with no
Oh,
passing.
Yeah, that's
That
rough.
is the worst.
Yeah,
Have you ever
but,
seen
man,
like
if
an
you
Amish clown car? Because those are amazing.
If you
An
need a
Amish
bar-
clown car.
Yeah, you get like a big old like beat up van that's driven by some guy, and then just like 50 of them pile out of this van. It's amazing.
No, bro,
I have
that's
never seen.
Mennonites.
I have never seen that.
Never Amish.
Really?
Mennonite.
Yeah, the only
I
time
always
you'll
get
see
so confused.
the only time you'll ever see an Amish person drive a van is when they're like a teenager on Rumspringa.
No, they weren't driving. Someone else drives. They hire a
Yeah,
guy.
they'll pay somebody to drive them around. They don't actually drive.
Oh,
But it's the Mennonites that because they're like the more relaxed. You know what an Amish girl's fantasy is?
what's
Two
that?
Oh, boy.
Mennonite.
Ah, bedunce.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay.
That kind of show, folks. So we have a
Moving
guest joining us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 6 hours from my hometown. We're joined by Herbert Elwood Gilliand III, OBE, Knight of the Bath, Esquire. Your Grace, welcome to the show.
Head
I've
wizard.
never
I
heard that
actually
one.
have a title, head wizard.
Head wizard.
So yeah, not grand wizard, but yeah.
You're a wizard of head. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yes, Brian, I am actually. Well,
Oh.
that was early in the show.
I
All right.
know. That's going out there, and there are 3 people watching. Hello. We're here to talk about your spacey, roguelike, adventure game thing called Fringes of the Empire.
Yes, Lost Astronauts.
Lost
Fringes of the Empire.
Astronauts. Okay, so is Lost Astronauts the name of your company, or is that like a person in the game? What like give us the background of this game. Like when did it come to fruition in your head? How long?
Is there a prize if we find the astronauts? Is there like a bounty?
Well, yeah, there was going to be in the sequel to this prequel. Lost Astronaut Studios is the name of it's just a business name for me. It's
okay.
not really a company. So you're dealing with kind of like the lone developer scenario here. I don't have 6 friends. I will get them someday. Yeah. Yeah, so Fringes of the Empire is the prequel to another game that's not released yet called Empire in the Sky.
Which is a RTS, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
Are there
RTS.
diamonds involved?
No, but that's a good reference. There's no band, so there is a
Oh.
band that produced a song called Empire in the Sky as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of a like
And
not
then
a big,
there's Lucy in the Sky with
Yeah.
diamonds.
which is a
That
definite.
was actually LSD.
Right,
Those
but that's
drug things.
yes, that's actually the reference there. So the if you visit the website, it does talk about it being a '60s retro um, kind of lava lamp of the lava lamp of space shooters was the goal
Hmm.
that project.
It
It's
was
not a
like
dead project.
spaceships with wood paneling on the side, kind
Well,
of.
we bend things and things get distorted and crazy looking. So
Yeah.
So,
Now
so
I
this
must
is
say I am highly looking forward to Space Station 76 or 79 or whatever the hell the name of the movie is.
is that like
didn't
Interstate 76 in space?
didn't that already come out?
I don't know.
I think
I
it
didn't
did.
hear. It was like a fart in the wind if it
I
did.
think it was a fart in the wind. I think it
Mm.
was a huge fart in the wind. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Space Station 76. All right.
yes, yes, with Liv Tyler, I believe, and a bunch of other people. Now,
Oh,
so this game is a top-down space adventure roguelike with, I believe, platforming elements in there as well.
you believe the hype. That's not true anymore.
Oh, I thought there was somewhere. Okay.
So I built an entire platforming engine as a separate project in GameMaker, and I dreamed of combining these two projects.
Right.
And as I began to do that, it became apparent that that was never going to happen.
Oh, okay.
So I gave that away. People can download that and make it in GameMaker if they want to make their own.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, why not? Some use out of it.
But this is a role-playing game, and there is some detailed role-playing stuff going on here. Like, I gotta say, I love like the Elder Scrolls type questionnaire that you get in the beginning.
Sure.
That determines your character.
Yeah, I'm happy with that part. I think that's a great part. Some people, younger kids, complained that it took too long. They didn't like taking
It
tests.
did not take that long. You know what? They should play a game.
Is it like Traveler and you can die in character creation?
No, I was just about to bring that up though. They should play like an old game called Space, which totally rips off Traveler, and you can die during character creation.
You can die during character creation.
Oh yeah. Oh
that's a
yeah.
great idea.
It's great. It's
Probably won't be doing
great.
that, but that's an interesting.
Don't
idea.
roll snake eyes because use
Yeah,
body
right.
parts.
Oh, I get it. All right, all right.
So yeah, you start the game with a 20 question questionnaire that tests your knowledge of not only real stuff but fictional stuff. It seems, which is
yeah,
kind
if
of
you paid
neat.
attention on the website, kind of thing, a couple times, and of other games, it does make a reference to Fallout. So
Does it? I don't remember that at all.
you'll see it. You'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last time I played, it made me an archaeologist,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is neat.
But it-
Xenoarchaeologist. Yeah.
It's missing the one thing that Dispatcher brought, where you can actually play as a porn star.
That's a good idea. See, I'm
Yeah.
gonna write this stuff down. Tomorrow is Dev Day.
That was the only good thing in Dispatcher, by the way.
Oh, all right.
really?
Well, bring it back.
Hunter and I had an experiment with that, and then it went back.
So I don't know much about Game Maker. And for other people in the audience who might not know much about Game Maker is, could you fill us in on like what the details of Game Maker is? It's a game creation engine, I'm sure.
Yeah, do you make
like,
games with it? Is that
right?
the-
But like, how does it differ from say Unity or something like that? Like, is
So
it,
it's the lower cost version of Unity.
okay?
It's not by the same people. It's by a company in Scotland.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be as nice as I can be to Yo-Yo Games, its maker. Yo-Yo Games is the company, but I really can't be all that nice because I spent money on it. You know, it went up in price after I bought it, so I felt like I was getting in early. But
Okay.
if you want to make a Flappy Bird for every single mobile device you could possibly think of, this is the thing to use.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
Gun-
So what's the learning curve of this thing? Because what I read about it, I own it. I just haven't fired it up. I got it in a bundle thing, and
Cool.
but I've been considering like it's either going to be like Unity or that. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go into this. But do you do a lot of scripting in it, or is it just kind of like you drag some stuff out on the screen and suddenly you have Space Invaders and it's all of it? Because they poised it as kind of like you can be drag and drop if you wish, but then you can do more.
Yeah. Yes, that is a good overview. I think the realities is really you have to kind of cut through their hype And what you quickly find out is that it's a lot about coding, and it's a lot about coding really gangly stuff that makes no sense except within its own world, which is fine. And I think that a non-expert who doesn't have a high um, lofty goal is going to be able to make like their first game in it, and maybe they can put it out onto a mobile device, which may explain why you see some mobile device games that kind of suck. How did they make those? Well,
Oh
they made
no.
it with Game Maker, but there's several others like competing with that, and that's Construct 2, App Game Kit by game creators, Construct 2 is by someone else. But Game Maker of those is pretty good, although App Game Kit, which was a Kickstarter project, looked pretty cool. I don't know how far along they are, but I think that'll be the better one later. Um, but you can do drag and drop with some heavy, restrictions. And then beyond that, it's a lot of coding with their proprietary stuff, and they make it seem like, oh, you'll just write this and then put it out to those 6 different platforms, no problem. But it turns out that each platform has different constraints, and different things work and don't work. For instance, you can't do like full networking support. You have to do only web page retrieval on mobile devices. You can't have like a socket on the mobile devices. So that was kind of a hindrance. I couldn't do things that I wanted to do. And as it turns out, as the project matured, it took a year to get to what you're seeing. It ended up being that I continuously was shaving off features that I wanted to explore and make more complicated, complex, and interesting. But because of the speed at which I was moving forward, I had to keep saying, no, I'll just get the first one. I won't get all those other ones I was trying to get as well as I was building out all the features. And so sadly, it ended up being that Windows. So what happened was I was going to make it for all the platforms, and then slowly I realized that was impossible. So I don't do it for all the platforms. Now I'm just back to Windows. And before I even bought this thing, I was developing a Windows engine. So I'm back to my old engine. So I'm just going to go back to my old engine and implement the things that I implemented here, and then just rapidly move forward, because it's just become impossible. And that's the sad truth. But it is what it is, and it is kind of fun, so I wanted to get it out there and raise awareness and learn about how to sell something on Steam, and I was lucky to get it greenlit. So
Oh, that's cool. So is it, well, first off, what code is actually under the hood there? Is it C Sharp, Java?
it's GML, which is a game maker language.
Oh, so it's its own bird.
Yeah, and you can use external DLLs written in C++ and C Sharp, but uh, with varying. Well, then they sandboxed everything, so it became more complicated to use those a lot. They keep breaking everyone's code, and so you're just kind of stuck with what they wrote. And if it doesn't work, you write this guy named Richard, and you say, Richard, what in God's name is going on with this, and why is this not doing what it's supposed to do? And you'll see in the game little artifacts of the like the overlay, which you'll get to, is when you see like a ship selected as your target, it kind of moves around a little bit at a different speed that the rest of it moves, and there's nothing I can do about that. As the programmer, they have muffed that up, and now I have to kind of deal with it.
So we refer to these quirks as Richards.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
I've caught another Richard in my code.
Uh, I'm on the yo-yo of yo-yo games, so not the end of their string.
So are you gonna take what you've got and then go back to a different engine and then kind of reproduce this in that, or is this what it is and then you're gonna make something else? Or I didn't quite follow what you were.
Oh no, so I want to make this clear to any gamer who's like, should I support this project? I want you to be happy. I want to make a memorable experience. It may not be a AAA title, but it's going to be a memorable experience. And I think this has the inkling of that, but I can't proceed forward And so as an early access release, I'm going to continually update it, with the frequency that I'm allowed to by Valve, which is like monthly at the minimum. Um, but as far as the plans for the future, I'm not giving up on this. I don't want to put out a game that sucks and then have people like, oh, I want my money back, or this sucks, don't buy it. I want people to be like, this was awesome. So I'm not leaving you guys. If somebody spent money to game, I promise. So
I want to apologize to people in the stream who could maybe hear me. For some reason, my internet is really doing terrible tonight. I'm dropping frames like a motherfucker, and yeah, it's really bad. Actually, I don't know what to do about it. It's really terrible. I mean, I've not changed any settings.
You sure it's not Richard screwing with you?
And I'm no,
yeah, it's Rich.
Quick, call Richard.
and I'm not downloading anything that I can tell that might screw up my bandwidth. So I don't know what exactly is happening.
Are you using Shadowplay?
No, I'm using Open Broadcaster software, which is what I always use.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's happening, and this is unusual. Like, I don't drop frames very over 10,000 at this point.
Okay, so I have a tip for you, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we can fix this. Alt-Enter should put it back into a windowed mode, and then I think you can make it smaller, but if I'm wrong about this, I'm sorry.
No, it did put it in a windowed mode. I don't know if that has anything to do. I don't know if the game is causing the problem, but I'll leave it in windowed mode here.
Past it, pushing this thing as much as it can go, but you're not in the part that's slow. You're in the part. What part are you at? You're at the menu.
I'm not even at the menu. Assessment. I am a legal Olympian technical xenoarchaeologist.
Excellent.
I know a fucking shit about biology, survival, archaeology, and computers. And law.
And law. Because you're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm a space lawyer. Objection.
Now, doesn't that sound cool?
It sounds hilarious. I love it.
I gotta burst the bubble is that it doesn't mean anything.
What?
None of that means anything. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
But it will. It will, Brian. I promise.
Okay. Well, apparently my character also has weak psionics. Whatever that means. Okay. So, apparently stream is resumed. I'm still... Huh? But,
Well, intermission. Let's all go to the lobby.
I'm not... oh, I think the game might have crashed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it's going. It's going. Okay.
Wait, did you see the computer and it was loading?
No, I've got the computer now. So I'm going to look at these this command help again because I was really lost. Okay,
Yeah.
so
There's secret commands, as I'll tell you about in a minute.
well, there are a few commands I'm not clear on. So, for example, commit agent. What is that?
Okay, so commit agents. So you're given 4 agents in the beginning, and
Right.
agents are spec ops, and they launch from. This has never been seen before, and this is the one feature that is totally unique to this game.
Okay.
You launch. I mean, maybe it's happened in an FPS, but you launch a little green guy, and then he shoots a grappling hook onto the enemy ship that you have targeted. And then he cuts a hole and goes inside and then replaces it so that they don't know he's in there. And that's what commit agent means. But you only get 4, and there's no way to really recoup them yet. So just use them one at a time.
Okay.
Spare.
And I see you can change what the agents do.
Yeah, and that doesn't really mean it does mean something. I did get some of it working. So I did work on this. So you can have it pop the weapons off of the ship, and then you can collect the weapons, which is an important thing that you have to do to make this game more fun for yourself. If you do play this game or buy this game, is you want to get a turret installed as soon as you possibly can, and preferably a nuke turret. But it's up to you. And then and there's 2 ways to get those turrets. One is to shoot them off using the autocannon or whatever I gave you in the beginning. You have 5 weapons.
Right.
And then the other way is to send this agent in and have him remove the weapons. Another thing you can do is eject cargo from the ship. So you tell him to go in and steal the cargo. And then the other is demolitions, where he's blowing up parts of the ship while you're, sabotaging the ship while you're fighting the ship. Spec Ops die during the process of their fight or of their mission, so they're kind of one-offs. But that's the gist of that feature. I believe for debugging, when you have a ship selected and you hit E, it will cause that ship to eject a fighter. So if you wanted to play around with them actually launching a fighter, you can do that.
Okay. Whoa. I think I just got blowed up.
Yeah, I can't see what's going on, but it takes a while to die. First you get damaged right away, then you get set off. You lose part of the ship, but you're still able to control. But
Okay.
So what happened? So you lost your main body?
Yeah, I'm in a escape rocket now.
With that big, and it says fuel.
Yeah, and I'm out of fuel. Oh.
So now you're just in your red rocket.
Yeah.
And your red rocket's actually a pretty good ship. You just can't launch fighters from it, and it has a smaller cargo hold. The fighters feature is it'll take us an hour to get you to build one fighter, but it could happen. Anyway, so then you can survive. You're not dead yet. Once you lose that ship, you die, and then you're immediately resurrected.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know how to elongate. I don't want people to die. I want people to explore and have fun.
I die all the time. I die all the time.
And we can attest to that.
Yeah.
I die. Oh, I think I'm in what am I in now? I'm in a little blue thing. What the hell
You're
am I
a little
in?
blue. Okay, if you hold X, you're going to shoot your laser guns, because that's you, buddy.
Oh, gosh. Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Only survivor.
Oh, my God. So I'm in like a spacesuit?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, because as soon as I spawned, there were like two big pirate ships on me.
Right.
And I died pretty quickly.
So when you come back, just go the other way.
Just go away. Just don't fly. Don't fly toward the thing it targets and tells you to fly to. Fly the opposite direction.
That's right.
Well, apparently now it's auto dialing 911. I don't even know what that means.
You're gonna come. That's respawn. You're gonna come back. So.
Oh. Okay. Cool. So just fly away until you find things to loot.
Take one enemy. Get used to because the combat in this, it's kind of crazy.
It is a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to it yet.
Well, for one, it shakes the screen, which is
I think that's pretty damned funny, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty damn great because, that it reminds you of in the original Star Trek, when the ship would get hit and they'd be like, ah!
That's right. Definitely an inspiration there, sure. I mean, Brian, my favorite game of all time is Starflight.
Oh, yeah.
That was my
come on.
Christmas
You don't
gift.
have to kiss Brian's ass just because.
No, this is the truth. I'm not. Is that your favorite game?
It's in my top 3. It's in my top 3. Yeah.
It's only the game that he talks about every single week. So thanks for that, bringing that up.
I'm actually next year is the 20th anniversary of the game being released, so I'm trying to get together a roundtable of the people who worked on it. Shh.
Every time Brian says
cool.
Starflight, I know that he's rubbing his nipples.
A little bit.
Brian, do you know Matt Barton?
No, that name does not ring a bell.
Have you ever seen Matt Chat?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think I have.
That Matt Barton. Yep.
This is an excellent opportunity for you and him to collab. I bet you he could get those guys and you guys could do a thing together. I wonder if that's possible, but if not, I would definitely watch your thing. But
does he know them?
No, but he's really good at tracking these people down, and he's talked to everybody. He's talked,
Okay, I've already got one of them, so I just need to find out the other. There were 5 guys in binary systems.
I believe one is dead, but I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
I feel that there is one that is dead.
Oh no.
And he died 10 years later. So, but I don't know.
Dysentery.
What about the guy that you talked to? You didn't ask.
Well, I didn't want to push it. You know, he already said yes. I'm like, could you get me in touch with the others? I didn't want to be an asshole and ask that. So
Oh.
I felt like that was dickish. You know what I mean?
Well, but does he know he's? I mean, you want to get a reunion going.
That's what I'm working on, and he already agreed to it.
That's
so
wonderful.
so no, I'm really excited about that.
I'm psyched.
So I'm trying to get that next year. But yes, Starflight 1 and 2, the first one especially. That was the first DOS game
Oh yeah.
I ever owned. I got a Tandy 1000EX, and Radio Shack had a bunch of games, like with their computers. Remember when they had computers? And
Yeah. Yeah. Remember when they had stores?
yeah, yeah, and so this game looks cool. It's got a spaceship on it. Why not? I had no idea what I was in for.
I played that would run. I played that in green MCGA on
Oh.
an 8088. And in fact, that computer that you saw while the game was loading is ANSI art that I made of an 8088. So it's modeled after that AT&T 8088.
So what do I do with this starbase here? Going back to this for a second.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
So an example, we were talking before about how the engine is just not so great.
Yeah.
That door used to open and you would like fly into it. Like you would like, get smaller and fly down. But, because of like I have to cry about it, I just have to cut these features that I want, but refactoring, I lose them. And so that'll be back one day. It'll be opening doors. Easy for me to add features, turn them on and off.
Right.
Like that, and it was cool. I spent like 3 days making that door work, and then like 6 months later I had to cut it. It's a crash point. If you were to talk to the space station, it would crash. Don't use the comms menu.
Oh, okay.
I did fix a bug recently that caused it to crash as soon as you click comms, but
Huh.
it just doesn't work very well. I'm sorry. So
That's okay. We might. I don't know. I don't know about the video for this week. I might. This is so terrible.
so are you capturing? Or you depend on the stream to capture?
Well, yeah. I usually just stream right to YouTube, and they
But we have
usually.
an audio recording going too.
Yeah, we have an audio recording, so we'll have an MP3. But I usually stream to YouTube, and right now, like I'm thinking of capturing this locally.
Oh, whoa! See, you you just click the main menu button.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's
Yeah, it
like
is.
most of the frames are dropped. Like I can see on the dashboard.
What's your resolution?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just running this thing in full screen. It's 1080, but
Did you try?
I'm down resing it to 720.
P.
Yeah.
Did you Alt Enter? I don't
I
think that's even gonna work, but
don't know if that's gonna do it. I did now. I don't know if that'll do anything. Okay, so I'm trying to find one ship here, and I'm gonna just try. Oh shit, there's a few of them. God damn it. Never mind.
so a couple of hints. The high raw flak cannon allows you to pop a gun off. Also, there's a bug with one of the ships, and it won't. Actually, you know what you should do? You should hyperspace to another system, because in the other systems they don't seem to target you properly. So you can probably just get off with a free kill if you go to like Alpha Proxima.
Okay, so star map. Looking for that. Oh, I see Alpha Centauri. Kraos. What am I looking for here?
The Earth system,
Oh, I see it.
It's-
Alpha Proxima.
right near there, yeah.
Engage hyperdrive.
You gotta hit that a couple times.
Yeah, because it gave me a question mark.
Yeah, it's just making sure.
Yeah, I know, which is funny.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm in Alpha Proxima.
So I think this one uses a shader.
It does. It's definitely prettier. And it's
Nice.
already targeted a bad guy for me.
Cool. He probably
is
he could
interesting.
be attacking you, but
I don't know.
also you should use your spec ops if you target him
Yeah.
and then launch your either the cargo mode or the theft mode.
What's cargo mode or theft mode?
We'll see that little button under Agents 4.
Yeah,
If you click that, it changes the mission type.
right. I see cargo. I see sabotage, recon, demolition. I'm guessing. So
I would pick Sabo maybe. Sabo will probably cause it to go through and slowly eject weapons every 30 seconds.
I like how the pirate ship names in this system are very specific, like Harry's Man Cave, and Haft and Blade, Hilton.
Yeah, this is the result of, again, it's not the smartest namer, but this actually came from a wiki about space games. That was like,
Really?
here's a list, use these. Some of them I think are kind of whack, but some of them are great. So, and I also have a list of over 800 United States ships of all time. So I use that for the UFSC ships, the Friends.
That's cool.
So yeah, but later on down the line, I'll have a smarter algorithm that does stuff. So this is the prequel. So the sequel was like an exploration into procedural stuff. Back in 2006, I kind of wanted to make a game, and I was like, I'll just make it in like 6 months. And 7 years later, 8 years later now, I have this like ridiculous cyclopean engine with 1,800 different interlocking classes that does all this crazy stuff that I haven't even shown the world yet, And Empire was built with that, an earlier version of that, and I'm going to rebuild it for this, but it had everything was procedural, like the aliens, their ships, the planets, the surfaces of the planets were done with procedural shading, so it was like real-time animation with like bump mapping, and it looked great. And I hired a really great voiceover actor named Richard Bushame, who works for the Discovery Channel. And I was just, that project is my baby. And this came about because I was frustrated with the time it was taking, and 7 years in, And I was like, well, I'm going to go get Game Maker, and that's going to speed up my life. And now I'm like, why did I do that? So now I'm just going to write a really smart, concise engine that lets me do Fringes, and then I'm going to expound upon that for its sequel, Empire in the Sky, because I want it to be great. I don't want to put out products that suck.
No, of course.
I don't think this entirely sucks. Maybe you'll disagree, but
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was very confused at first. I will admit, but now that I know where the controls are and whatnot, I'm kind of digging it. I like that it's a roguelike. I dig that.
I'm seeing the stream.
Yeah, I'm kind of into the top-down thing.
Oh yeah, I love
myself as
top-down
well.
games like this.
Because
Yeah.
there's so many games that have come out that are like that. I mean, it's like we've had Knave, which is a long-standing. It's basically elite top-down. But then they had that what was it, Free Sky?
Well, it's more. You're thinking, yeah, Endless
Or
Sky,
Open Sky, Endless Sky, yeah.
and those are more like Escape Velocity.
Right. And then there's oh gosh, the one that we play
Like Free
a
Space.
lot.
Remember Free Space?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a personal relationship with Free Space.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I had about a year ago, and I should follow up with these guys. I had a podcast with a bunch of the people who worked on Free Space 2 and Free Space, and that's probably like, I was really trying hard not to fanboy all over them, but I did anyway because Free Space 2, holy shit, best game
Yeah.
ever. That's my number one.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? It's Void Expanse.
Oh, I
Oh
like that.
yeah,
The one that
great
we were
game.
playing a lot of.
Great game, yes.
Yeah,
nice.
so I'm totally into this like top-down perspective thing because it just makes these kind of games a little more approachable than
Oh, yeah.
like a lot of people just don't like to deal with the whole 3D thing and
Yeah.
situational awareness and that. But yeah, so it's you can do this kind of thing. And what was that one that you were playing just the other day, Brian? They've renamed it a couple of times. Star Sector.
Oh,
Star
it?
Sector. Yeah, yeah. I know that.
Yes. That game is
Yeah,
great.
I don't
That
know
game
what
is
happened
great.
with that game, but they went from kind of a fun little game to like a meat grinder. Oh my god.
Well, you can. They
What
still
do you
have
mean?
like it was initially just a top-down like strategy tactical game, which you can still do. There are missions that you can just do by themselves, and you can still play like that.
Yeah,
Or
but I
there's
jumped
this.
into the campaign and it's like I
Oh
met my
no,
first enemy fleet and it was
no, the campaign
that
will
was
kill
the
you.
game over.
Oh, the tipping
Like
point. The tipping point in that game is like instantaneous. Like you have to have more ships, or you will not win,
Yeah,
or
I
you have to
know
have more powerful ships. That's a.
exactly. Okay,
It's
so I
so
stole
cool.
some turrets. Sorry, I stole some turrets. What do I do with them?
All right, go to main menu. I did see that. I do see occasional updates over there, and that's good. So main menu, and then you go to I think it's status.
Got it.
All right, and then there is a turret button,
Oh,
and now you can. They're very tiny.
I don't know which one of the. How do I know which one does what?
No idea. You have to try each one.
Okay.
If it's blue with three spheres, that's or circles. That's a pretty good one.
Oh, there's a one with 3 circles and like a cross formation with two. It looks like 2 barrels.
I believe I don't know. Some of them look similar, but that one could be a nuke, could be something else.
Ooh, how do I shoot it?
You use the mouse, so it's not only is it keyboard aim, but it's also mouse aim.
Oh, really?
And now you're gonna be killing every
Whoa.
ship you go towards.
This thing shoots in all directions. This particular turret.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that one. That works. I can see that really well. The stream's fixed right now, but you know what though?
Hey, yeah, we're in the green.
There's like 100. It's probably because it was like around 5 o'clock.
I don't know. Oh, now it's in the red again. I don't fucking know what's happening.
I see it fine. It looks fine now, but
Oh, what's that?
there's over 100 weapons. You just can only access certain ones right now. I mean, I spent a lot of time tweaking each weapon. Well, there's another turret.
Yeah, I know. I just found a few other things.
Oh yeah,
floating around.
nice. That one's not very good, or maybe it is. I honestly don't remember, but so the weapon you have there is not very effective. You may want to try a different turret, one that fires a missile.
Oh,
But
okay.
whatever you want to do.
Let me give that a shot. Now,
Yeah.
I kind of like this menu system. It does remind me of like an old school Starflighty menu system, which I dig.
Yeah.
Gotta say, I dig that.
So we agree on that, but what about the other folks? I mean, do you guys like that, or you? Some people said it was clunky or slow.
This
Alright.
thing shoots blue lightning bolts.
Oh, that one's all right. So there are 5 different types of damage. There's radiation damage, which sickens crew. Then there's electrical, which can damage the computing systems of enemy ships. Then there's, by the way, there's no way to use a turret as a regular.
Oh, this one shoots a missile.
Cool. What color is the missile?
Blue, gray.
That's an ice missile. That's a cryo missile. So then
Oh.
there's cold and heat damage, and then there's just regular like projectile kind of concussive weapons. And,
I
and
have no more agents. Oh no.
yeah, you kind of used all 4.
Son of a bitch.
So you can start a new game, but soon I tell you what. Well, I'll do an update eventually that allows people to graduate. You can train your crew now, but it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But you should be able to graduate your spec ops. But I'm kind of moving towards the new engine, so I want to have a really great update in a few months.
Oh, really? You're porting this to a new engine?
I have ripped out the umbilical cord. I'm moving on. It's time to make a great game in a different engine, and
But it's still going to be this game. It's just
Yeah.
going to be. Oh, okay. So what are you moving to?
I'm moving to my own custom Windows PC only. It's written in. Yeah.
That's probably a smart idea.
Yeah, it's fast, it's slick, and it can be very complicated and have a lot of features, and uses OpenGL. It's just great.
Have you coded an engine before, or was that your first rodeo with that kind of thing? Because I've watched that that show on YouTube, the Homemade Hero, I think it is, or Handmade Hero, where the guy has gone like hundreds of hours into cooking this engine for like a 2D sprite based thing, and he's kind of explaining like every line of code and why he did what he did and stuff. But it's just like blowing my mind watching this thing, because you know it's like the one episode on just how to get sound to play, and you know so he's bringing it like just from raw C# and not using anybody's like pre-done code modules and stuff. So it just the idea of cooking my own engine is pretty daunting to me.
Well, you said that's Homegrown Hero?
Yeah, I think it's Handmade Hero or
Handmade.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think it's Handmade Hero.
Handmade. I'm gonna check that guy out. Sure, I'll see a couple things that I want to duplicate, but ultimately, so like in 2006, I was working at a hospital doing actually a medical school, doing cancer research, and part of the research was to do geometric analysis of morphology, which in layman's terms means looking at a slide instead of a doctor and determining what it is.
Oh.
And so that kind of got me to thinking, well, I was using processing, which is a kind of an accessible programming language developed at MIT by a fellow named Ben Fry and Casey Reese. It's a co-authorship. And that's a cool thing if you want to just play with graphics and you want to learn about how to do graphic visualizations. And it's a useful tool. I use it for things, to write a quick sketch, as it's called in processing. But we wanted to take this to another level, so I began developing in Linux using libauger, which is the basis for Blender. If you've ever heard of Blender, that's
Yeah.
a modeling.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so I fell into IRC and I met this guy named Veg, and he told me to use libauger, and I learned all of that. And then I began working with a guy named Jerome, who owns a company called Ecere, ECERE Corporation, which is a nonprofit in Canada. And he did a really cool cross-platform tool that lets you do DirectX and OpenGL all in one place.
Oh.
So I learned a lot about that, and he's a great programmer. I mean, he's a really smart guy, and I learned it just helped me along the way. And so in 2007, I picked up the reins and began developing a Microsoft Visual Studio project. And like I said, it's earlier, it's 1,800 classes that are just interwoven, to do curves, to do 2D calculations, to do massive worlds. I've got a thing that'll let me do pretty much, 100,000 items, which is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a Bethesda world. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they have millions. I don't know. But in 2D. And I eventually kind of half sold it to the company that I work for, Peacemaker Technologies, which is a retail 3D printing company. We do, currently we're located in 4 stores in the Mid-Atlantic region, so New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, in Toys R Us stores, selling Nickelodeon items that are 3D printed, customized for people who come into the stores.
Oh, wow.
And so I kind of licensed my engine to them, and we use it every day, and this has actually helped because it kept the project going, and it made it more robust, and allowed me to express all of that stuff I wanted to in graphics. When I was growing up, there was a guy named Chris Chu who worked on several Halo games. He is a graphics programmer at Bungie, and he recently released a title. It's their fantasy title that just came out. He was working on that project.
Oh,
I can't think of the name, but I
Not
don't.
Myth, right?
No. No, he still works there. But he did a great talk. If anybody's into graphics programming or wants to learn something from a true professional, he did a recent talk at GDC about how they did the new particle engine for the Halo Reach title.
By the way,
And-
were you talking about Destiny? The
Maybe.
fantasy-ish thing?
Sounds good. Yeah,
it's
sounds
like
right.
Halo with Space Knights, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, they're also coming out with some other like No Man's Sky like game or something. But anyway, so this guy and I back in like 1994 wrote a game that we pitched to Epic. I was 11 or 12 at the time, and he was like my age. And we actually almost got it, except Stone came out with this space shooter, and so we couldn't do our space shooter because they already had a space shooter. And he went on to write something that was similar to those Subspace. Do you remember the game Subspace?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we wrote a game. He was writing a game similar to that was based on our work in '94, in '96, and we lost touch after that. But um, you know, to this day, I had wanted to work in graphics, but I was a web developer, and I was doing like websites, and it paid my bills. And he went off to work at Bungie, and he worked with Paul Debovec, who is like the center of all movies. Any new CG you see comes out of like the Debovec lab. When Epic shows you how like the earlobe is lit. Remember that video a couple years back? They're like, look at that earlobe.
Oh god, the earlobe. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
that was Paul Debovec's work, doing light that lights, or a shader that makes it look like light is passing through a semi-opaque object. So stuff
Did
like
you
that.
grow up in Pittsburgh?
I did.
So all these people are from there?
Well,
So-
Chris Chu is from Wisconsin. He moved here, and now he lives in Seattle. I stayed. Nobody else stayed.
Okay, so basically, like, if I want to be a cool game dev, I need to at least pass through Pittsburgh at some point, and my destiny is set. Because it sounds like you have the coolest friends. Like,
Well, I mean, come to Pittsburgh, buy me a pizza. I don't know, but or a beer, but and we'll talk. But as far as like why you would come here, unfortunately, Randy Pausch, who was a dear friend of mine, Dr. Randy Pausch, he wrote The Last Lecture. I don't know if you remember this book. He was the guy who got famous for dying. Yeah. He worked for EA, and so that's our connection, is through Carnegie Mellon and through the Entertainment Technology Center, of which I was a part when it was only 5 people back in the beginning of it. And now it's a huge program. And so if you wanted to become an EA executive or an EA game designer, or if you wanted to work for Angel Studios, which is now called Rockstar, you would probably want to go to the ETC Masters program at Carnegie Mellon, or you want to go to Full Sail, which is down in Florida and other places. But Carnegie Mellon has a special track for that. And so that's why I know these people. We all went to the same school. We went to the same high schools. In fact, one of my friends in high school who he loves Star Control. He can't play those 3Ds because they make him sick.
Oh no.
He doesn't have epilepsy. He just doesn't, it just makes him sick.
Yeah.
And so he can't enjoy it. So that's kind of why I make 2D games, because I know people can, relax and casually enjoy a game instead of worrying about ducking behind something and all that.
yeah,
So-
have you made like a bunch of little stuff, or do you just go for the epic big long projects?
I have trouble with games. I have to go epic. I have to at least go expansive. I don't know if it has to be epic, but yeah, I've done little projects. I mean, I've probably written. I know that this game engine is at least 250,000 lines of code. That's epic.
Holy
But
crap.
it's huge. But I wrote like a little space game while doing this called Space Sheep. I never released it or anything, but you basically just click on the ship to destroy it. That kind of thing. So yeah, along the way, I mean, processing allows you to write little tiny things, and you can't really get too big with the processing. So that kind of forced me to write quick solutions, and I still use it. But part of that was gaming. There was some like asteroids clones, and I could play with those. And then about 2 years ago, about 5 years ago, I got my first actual commercial game deal, where I made a game for Procter & Gamble's Oral-B line,
What?
available on Nokia phones in Italy.
What?
Yes, I wrote a game for the Nokia phones, the flip phones.
What?
Or yeah. I wrote
Is it
a
like
game.
Plaque Blaster or something?
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, you're like a I didn't make the graphics, but you're a little toothbrush, and it's a platformer, and you have to like go and scrub the teeth. And so you jump, and you like, instead of coins, you pick up teeth.
You could have
I
done
was-
Flappy Teeth. That would
I
have
should
been-
have done Flappy Teeth. That would have sold better, maybe. But yes, that was the first time I made a commercial game. But I had worked with a company called Demiurge through my school. They launched this company called Demiurge, and that name is probably not that familiar to you, but
I know that name from something.
you know it though. Yeah, they made Band of Brothers
Oh yeah.
and the Alien Colonial Marines flop, and some other games like Shoot Many Robots.
Oh, yeah, I
I,
love Shoot Many Robots.
I have that one.
So
somewhere.
they actually did Colonial, because I knew like Gearbox was the name on the box for that, right? But
Yeah,
but they
so
were like under Gearbox or what?
Yeah, so Demiurge gets hired. There's a guy there named Chris. I can't remember his last name, but there's a like super uber programmer there named Chris, who just like he drove their technology, and they would get hired out. So they worked for Epic first as the documenters. They documented Unreal Ed because there were no docs when they got into game development. So they wanted to write the docs. So a guy named Jason Lentz, who worked on that team for Demiurge, worked for Epic to develop all of the documentation for early versions of Unreal Ed around 2002. And that company went on to be hired as kind of like a partner or an outsource to work on Fallout 3, and that's where Fred Zeleny comes in, and those were all my classmates, and I helped
Okay, tell the ink spot story.
in the beginning. Yeah, so
We have to tie that up because I started the show with the ink spots, and people will be like, "What?" So
yeah, no, that's totally cool, man. So basically, just to it's hard to prove these things, and so what I'm telling you is my truth, but it's a truth that I think Fred will agree with. Fred Zeleny worked on a lot of the quests for Fallout 3, and by way of me contacting Tim Kaine directly and some other people, because I was such a huge fan of Fallout, and you can see that in this game, that Fringes of the Empire, you know, I got to share with them just some stuff I wanted to share about the Fallout series as they were building Fallout 3, which they were worried about. They thought that they might create the wrong product, and they were going to get rid of VATS. There were like lots of plans, like they just weren't sure. And so I was like, totally behind the VATS, like revival. I was like, don't get rid of that. If you guys are flip-flopping, don't give it up. Maybe that was a bad idea, I don't know, but ultimately I think it was something that made that product different.
well, it made it accessible to people who
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
FPS. Or
That's the thing, yeah. Like I have a lot of girlfriends who play that game and they hate FPSs because they aren't good at them. And now you can freeze time, so and especially with Fallout 4. My friend Cimarine, her name's Valerie. That's her like nickname. She can build her, little Fallout settlements. She loves that. But
yeah, I was kind of wishing that Fallout 4. The one thing that I want from Bethsoft is just let me have one other person in my game. Just co-op, 2 players,
yeah.
and that way I can at least have somebody come in and visit the crap that I made.
I
like
agree with you.
like Skyrim or something, because I know you can't do the whole thing of like, well, let's deal with like 10 players in here all doing their own thing and whatever. Just have one guy. It's his story, but his buddy can come along with him, and or let me play dog meat, whatever. But
Or Codsworth, yeah.
yeah, any of the above. But
Did you see
since
the-
you've got their ear, just insist like Fallout 5.
There was a
or
hack or a
Skyrim
mod.
2.
For Skyrim, there was a mod that let you play with like 10 other people, and I did.
Yeah, we fooled around with it. I didn't have a lot of
Really?
success, but
Yeah, it crashed quickly. Usually when you hit something. Well, to make a long story short, after I interacted with the Fallout team, they did put me in the game as Herbert Daring Dashwood, and they made a illusion or if you read the terminal in Herbert's Tenpenny Tower or whatever, there's a reference to a guy named Chen. And that's Chris Chu of Bungie. So now you know. That's the Easter egg in there. You didn't know me. It was like an inside joke almost. But there's also some talk of MUDs. You guys know what MUDs are, multi-user dungeons.
Yeah.
So in that game in Fallout 3, they do talk about MUDs a bit. They don't talk about them in Fallout 4, and I haven't really interacted with that team in a long time, so they're going off notes now. They don't know who said these things. But in addition to being able to provide them with a really cool playlist, which they couldn't afford at the time. They couldn't afford to buy all of it. That's why you only get like 4 songs in Fallout 3. But they're slowly releasing these other tracks. There's about 20 of them that I gave them. I don't know which ones they'll end up getting, and there's probably new ones that they'll get in the end. In the long term, I think they even had somebody make a custom track for this Fallout 4. But if you're listening to those jazz songs, that's all because I worked at WRCT 88.3 and knew a lot about music and shared that. But the reason it talks about MUDs is because, and the reason why Herbert Daring Dashwood is an adventure, aside from the fact that I can do the Argyle thing, is also that I actually did this thing with Daiku Mud. You guys know what Daiku Mud is, or Aber Mud?
No.
Yeah, I know Daiku. In fact, Daiku is kind of what EverQuest was based off of. If you know all the slash commands and whatnot, from what I understand.
Yeah, there's some crosstalk there. I don't know. I I actually ran into Bernie Yee in 1999 and kind of accused him of that during a press thing, and Sony put out a press release that said, no, that's not true. And to some extent, it is true. It was influential of it, but it wasn't the code.
I was kind of a Batmud guy myself, but
well, that's cool.
oh god, I'm
That's
dated
fine.
now.
I'm Mush now. You know, I'm actually the head wizard of 8bitmush.org. Check it out sometime. It's a really cool thing. I'm not the owner. I'm just the head
Yeah.
wizard.
See, that's
But,
what they need in Fallout 4 is you go to one of those terminals and then they Easter egg in like you're playing a MUD, and
They kind of did actually in one of the vaults.
oh
in
cool.
Fallout
Really?
3. Yeah, they do mention mudding in one of the vaults. It's like a Zork game that you play. Yeah. Well, so the reason that's in there is because in 1993 I wrote software that actually did go viral, and thousands of people have used it. It's the online creation part of Daiku Mud, and I have tracked it over the years, and I'm sure like thousands and thousands of people have used it at this point. It kind of ruined mudding in the long run, but it did provide a lot of really cool creative stuff. Mudding was dying, or not dying. It's not dead. It'll never die, but it was certainly changing in the late 90s, and maybe online creation was to blame, but
Well, it's
that's
like
just it.
Usenet, right? It won't ever die, but it won't be quite relevant either. So
Well, it's cannibalizing itself. I mean, I think the people who run a lot of the mud sites are just meanies. They're looking to troll you. They're looking to accuse you of things. They're looking to
well, there's no drama like MUD drama.
I
That's
know. I know.
Really?
True. Definitely.
I've never really played MUDs, so
If you can extend something in the virtual world into a real life attack, a mudder will do that.
what?
Yeah, it's like imagine a BBS flame war where you can actually beat people with swords,
yeah.
and you kind of it's a chat room with physical abuse.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Why would anyone want that?
It's self-deprecating, but at 8-bit, Luigi is the king. I'm not Luigi. I'm Locke, Locke. But Luigi instituted something called darting, which allows you to dart people, which kicks them off and then freezes them for like 10 minutes or a half an hour. And if you compound them, like throw many darts at somebody, you can make them have to go away for 2 weeks, which is something unique to that game. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with that feature. I don't like it, but it's somehow appropriate to a mudding environment. So
Can you loot them, strip them naked while they're standing there frozen?
well, there are hacks where you can walk into people and take all their items and stuff. But
Yeah.
well, I tell you what, I challenge you to sneak on and try these things. It's a troll's den in there if you play it right. But yeah, no,
We
that's
need a space MUD.
well,
that's
it
your next
has a
project.
No, I'm never going
No.
back. I'm never going back. I quit in 2006, man. I'm doing graphics. Forget it. Sorry. But I do work at 8-Bit Mush, but we have graphics. And we also have the space game in there. So check it out. But
There's
So,
a
Brian-
there's a space game in there.
There's a space. There's 8-bit Mush's games within games. There's even a Tetris clone in there. Somehow.
What?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Wow. This takes me back because you were talking about you made the editor, and then I wrote an editor for the
Oh,
Atari
dear.
800 back in the day. Yeah. So
Neat.
back when we were on 300 baud dial-up, and
Yeah.
characters would pop on the screen at a certain rate, right? So I actually wrote a thing that would string together a text file because you could put escape characters and stuff in the text file, which meant you could move the cursor around the screen. You could do backspaces and
Animate.
stuff like that. Yeah. So I wrote basically a movie editor in ASCII, or their version of ANSI for it was a TASCII is what they called it. But it was like an ANSI character set for Ataris. And yeah, some true classics like the boob that ate New York were made in that, and it was like King Kong with a boob.
That's awesome, man. That's hardcore. Definitely. I mean,
Yeah, I was much better programmer then than I am now. That's for sure.
well, I'll tell you what.
I regressed.
At 8-bit, I mean, they say things. They're like, "Why did you upgrade from your 8088?" So. Why they're like 286, that's the whole.
Is that ansiart.com? Is that
fancy.org? FAN. Yes, it is ansiart.com. Yes.
okay? I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Jason Scott's BBS documentary?
I have parts of it.
Yeah. The ANSI art part of it was particularly great because they got into like the where they had the different ANSI groups and how they'd kind of war with each other.
What?
And
Yeah,
this whole online culture before online even existed.
Really?
It was,
And I put out art pack like it's actually going to be released at the end of the year. An art pack. We just made an art pack to bring it back. But
oh my God.
we have a member of ICE. Remember ICE?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one of our users is an ICE ex-member, and he comes by and hangs out because we're the only guys really innovating ANSI at this stage. But
Yeah.
we like doing it, so.
So if you go to artscene.textfiles.com,
Sure.
and that's got all the ANSI packs clear back to like 1992.
Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make a new section for us. 2015, baby.
Oh,
To
wow.
present. I mean, to present does mean.
Yeah, man, he's got everybody in here. It's like Mirage, and Aces of ANSI, and Grimoire's in here. He's got all these dudes. But yeah,
So if you go to that website, artscene.textfiles.com, there's a link there for ANSI music, and 8-bit will play ANSI music. So I actually imported all of the ANSI music from there, and I put it into a jukebox object that you can buy, and is also available for free lying around somewhere. And when I say buy, I mean coins. On 8-bit, you get paid coins every day, a paycheck from Slappy the Mule. He sends you a paycheck, so you can buy this thing. But anyway, and the jukebox will play, the 1992 version of Coventry by Ed Bragg or whoever.
well, no, if it doesn't play Eye of the Tiger and Axel F, it's not real.
It
so-
does.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I'll bring it up for you. Give me a moment. But yeah, no,
I'm from there, man.
That's awesome.
What can I say?
Awesome. Yeah, no,
I'm definitely gonna check out this NCR thing. It looks pretty nifty.
yeah, cool. So,
Yeah, so
Brian, I
it's-
feel like we've gotten off topic. Are you still playing? Are you still shooting
I'm
things?
still playing. I'm still shooting things. I got some missile that's kind of greenish, and it just like blows up the fuck out of everything.
Awesome.
It hasn't crashed once. Knock on
Yeah.
wood. Knock on IKEA wood. This is pretty great, actually. I'm really enjoying this, and the more I play it, the more I could see that there could be a lot of awesome opportunities here once you get all the shit you want to working. Like
Yeah.
talking to space stations and boarding ships and stealing their shit. And
Well, since
Well-
you're going over to the new engine, right? Like you could kind of like let people pre-order spaceships, and kind of get that whole Star
Stop it.
Citizen thing going.
There won't
Stop
be
it.
no.
stop
Another thing.
it. Yeah,
Okay,
please.
couple of policies at Lost Astronaut that you got to be aware of. Number one, it's got to be fun. Number two, it's got to look kind of cool. It can't look crappy. And number 3 is no in-app purchases. So you'll never be buying anything. But one thing that you can do now is you can edit the text file for the campaign, and if you're a real hacker modder type, you could probably make your own space areas in it. That kind of
planet.
we want to see that. You know, I want to see that. I want you to land on a planet. I mean, I want you to build a base on a planet, maybe, or at least encounter a base on a planet if you don't build it. And you're supposed to go to destroyed Earth. I mean, if you read the data bank, which, you know, it's reading, so you can do it later if you want. But
Reading.
reading. If you go back to the main menu and click on data bank, there's actually a whole little, like, you know, Civipedia in there, you know, if you will.
Is that like another Pennsylvania reference?
Civipedia?
Reading. No,
Reading.
the reading.
Oh, no.
Or is that Reading?
Reading
Well,
is a
never
town in Pennsylvania.
Meds and meds, but we're
Yeah,
trying to...
they have a railroad and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, only in Monopoly.
So you are rewriting this in your own custom engine. Now, if someone buys this version now, the Game Maker version, will they get access to the custom version you're making?
Well, you know, Steam has given me one app ID, and I'm going to just update it there. Yeah, I'm not going to cheat people out of that. I mean...
Very cool.
There's
Well,
only...
I didn't mean to assume that you would.
No.
I just wanted to clarify that. I'm sure people would want to know that. That's why I asked.
No, and we're not moving forward with this. I mean, I'm not going to be updating this engine, but I will be in a few months putting out, like next year, early, like by March, hopefully, putting out the newer engine with hopefully a better world to play in. It won't be done, but it'll be, it'll be somewhere.
It'll still be early access, but it'll be much more fun and playable. Not that this version isn't fun and playable, but you want to do even more stuff, and it sounds like Game Maker has severely limited you in what you can do.
It works for some people. I think it worked for the guy who made Gunpoint. Okay, that's their big success. They told me that 2 days ago. They're like, Gunpoint was made in it, and look at his new game. And his new game looks a lot like, kind of like a real-time FTL, and it looks cool, and go play it.
What's his new game? What game are you talking about?
It's like a... it's like this. It's a top-down 2D, but you can land and get out and walk into the station and walk around spaceships that you board.
I probably have it, or I'm gonna have it soon.
Well, it's I don't know when it'll be released, but it's certainly something he's working on, and it looks great. And he was able to make all that happen, and that's great. But when I approach this development platform, I don't want to stick everything in a Game Maker object. I want it to be portable. I want us to be able to take it out of there later. And I just give up. I hate it. I hate it.
Oh no.
It takes me 20 minutes to save the file of the game engine. And every time I build the thing, it takes 20 minutes to see what I just did. So you can
Are you still using cassette tapes or what?
I feel like it, man. When I type, remember that 300 baud modem thing you were talking about?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
That's the speed that it limits me to when I type. It's like 160 baud.
Seriously.
And so for me, it's over. I gotta move on. I can't do it in there. So you're gonna get a great new engine with the, it's good for Empire in the Sky, the sequel, because I'll be able to put out this platform and get some feedback from users. I think it'll work on most machines, not everyone, but most machines. So, it can't be any worse than this. The same requirements. You got to have NVIDIA. You got to have ATI. You can't use Intel graphics for this. It won't really run on a laptop very easily. But it's going to be great because I can do also. Let me give you an example. This is a little specific, but frame buffer objects. That's real specific. Okay, what that means is that you write to an area off screen, and then you can put it onto a texture and put that texture onto a polygon. You guys have seen this when you pull up the Pip-Boy in Fallout 4. You're looking at an FBO, a frame buffer object. It's a special render to texture is another name for this. So in Fallout, you can do that. In Game Maker forces you to throw away your FBOs at the end of every frame, so you cannot capture information onto an FBO and store it there. Because of that, you're severely limited. you cannot use an FBO except temporarily. And I know that sounds like real specific and nitpicky, but it means that you can't put maps in there. You can't put like crazy huge lookup tables in an FBO, and you're just the things I would do if I could do just that.
Holy shit!
I'm actually surprised that you lasted as long as you did on this engine. Like, at what point would I just eject? And be
Well, I
like,
think the
"Oh,
$500
no."
I spent was like I was like, I'm getting my $500 out of this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. And
Yeah. By the way, Tom Francis's other game, it's called Heat Signature.
oh yeah,
Signature.
yeah.
That sounds familiar. Is that out yet?
No, it isn't
No.
out yet.
There's not even a
But yeah,
release.
it's made in Game Maker, and it's like you fly around and then go inside spaceships, and it gets a little roguelike inside the ships. So
I think if
Kinda
I,
cute.
if I decrease the resolution of the graphics, I could load faster. You know, a lot of it's about that initial load. Maybe that's why the gunpoint is so nice and quick, because
it's
he's
kind of
used-
chunky pixel.
yeah, and I like that look. I do, but maybe that's the secret. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I threw a link for you in the chat there. It's
Yeah,
ASCII-sector.net.
Also, I
Um,
promised you a-
Really cool. It's basically an ASCII
Privateer.
version of Privateer.
Yeah,
Oh, this is awesome.
it's pretty great.
This is awesome. This
It's
is
like-
like Steam.
No, it's just a free game. It like mixes Privateer with Sundog almost in how it plays, because you can get out of your ship and walk around the bases like you could in Sundog, and
Ooh,
then when
Linux.
you get into
Yeah, it's-
space, it's like an ASCII fucking ship. You're like, wow. There's another game that reminds me of the one I'm playing. Did you ever hear of this game, Starbox? It's another top-down RPG spacey thing, but I don't know which engine it's running on. Hang on.
I was very disappointed to find out that you were not actually a box. I was kind of hoping there was some card.
Does ASCII sector run in the Linux term?
I don't
No,
know.
it's a Windows executable, but
But
it's
They have a
basically
Linux
pops a
version.
DOS window up and runs in it.
Okay, in that case, it does work in the Linux term, and that's exciting. That's way better than Rogue, where it's like no colors, and that's awesome, man. Oh, I did write another game. I just thought of it. So I wrote an editor for Linux called Fed. So you type Fedit or Fed, right? It's just a joke, like Fed, like the Fed, and it's on SourceForge. But hidden in it is N curses invaders. So you play like a text Space Invaders. Throw that out there. Yeah, it's like a hidden boss key kind of thing. All right.
So I'm so sorry you're frustrated with this version, but I kind of, you know what? I see the possibilities for something awesome here. It needs more. It needs more stuff. It needs, like right now I'm just flying around shooting stuff. I'd love to be able to, talk to people. I'd love to be able to land on planets. And you say you have that in the works.
Well, it's in the plan. It's not in the.
Well, in the plan, that's what I meant. You have it. You have like a plan that you want to do all this stuff, and
no, I mean I want that door to open again. I want to be able to land on a planet. I mean, I wouldn't be able to really do that. I can't even switch to a platformer view. I'm not going to do a platformer. I don't think. I think I'm just going to keep it all top down. But
No,
I
that's
have
cool.
a problem with like that whole like you're holding a gun out in front of you and you're up. It just looks silly. Like a flying letter T. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
See, I have a vision. I have several, but usually when I'm drunk. But
Yeah.
this thought that I have, right? Because there's like old games, because we've been talking about like some old school stuff, and there's things that were made back then, and nobody has touched a game that's similar to it since.
You mean like Mule?
and I like what?
Like Mule.
Yeah, like Mule. Well, yeah, I guess that would actually qualify, because it's But I was thinking about what's
Sure.
his new game? It's off-world resource. No, not off-world resource base. The space business thing on
Off-World
Mars.
Resource Company, yeah. Or,
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
well, I was
Off-World,
thinking
Off-World
more-
Resource something. Yeah, no, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
No, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of Mule, sort of. It's like Mule 2015, but way complex, in real time and stuff. But yeah, like the thing with Mule, well, the thing that I was thinking about is like if you recast any old game and you put in space behind it, right? Now you've got a new thing. So, and like a lot of the old Sid Meier stuff that I really liked, right? So when you look at like Sid Meier's Pirates, that would totally work as a space game.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
There
You
are
know?
some games that do try and capture that, but they
Or
vary.
Railroad Tycoon in space, which is kind of Space Bucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, you could
and
say
Space
that.
Bucks needs to come back
Oh
because
God, yeah.
my God, right?
You
We were playing Space Bucks last week, and that game is sublime.
It's
And,
great.
and I just cannot believe nobody has remade that thing. And it would work as,
It
dude,
would
you could
totally
redo
work.
Space Bucks
It
as
would
a
totally work.
freaking BBS door game,
Yeah,
and it would work.
it would totally work.
Dig,
Uh,
Dig Dug in
you-
space.
You could say that like the escape velocity type games are kind of Sid Meier's piratey in space, sort of.
Somewhat-ish, but I'm
Sort
talking
of-ish.
about like you go to a colony and you get a letter of marque from the governor, and like
Oh.
go get those Spanish spaceships.
Oh,
and,
what is that? Oh,
It sounds-
patrician.
Yeah, patrician in
Patrician.
space would
Yeah,
be
in
great.
space.
That'd be cool too.
Port Royale.
I don't know how into patrician you got, but I downloaded a save game once that was like they were like perfect. Everybody, this is the perfect game, and like all you have to do is like hit the play button at four times and just let it go, and it'll just. And
Oh,
I was like, how could you possibly have done that? That was crazy. Wow. That must have taken like 500 hours to set that up. That was.
Yeah,
Wow.
those patrician games were, and like the Anno games and all those other games.
Well,
those
patrician wasn't it kind of a follow-on to like Machiavelli the
are,
Prince?
yeah,
Okay.
very much in that same style. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went
Great
to the,
games.
the cafe. You could order like the egg over, a certain way. you
No,
know.
what we need is the guild in space. That's what we need.
That would be neat.
I would love that.
Yeah. And the guild's still around, man. You can get that on Steam.
Oh, those are great games. I
If you
got
did that with like Warhammer. You know?
yeah. It is a great time we're living in. I do have a lot of choice in terms of gaming right now.
Totally.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
I tried to own every space game. When I
Oh,
started
yeah.
this project, there was no Minecraft.
Nope.
And so I was like, I'm gonna make the coolest building game. By the way, I worked on Sauerbraten. You guys ever heard of that?
No. I
Cube
have
2
not.
engine? No.
No.
Well,
Sorry.
it's exactly like Minecraft, but came out in 2003 and no one played it. Like some people played it. It was in a Burger King commercial, but then Minecraft. I don't know.
Apparently, you didn't have the fedora that.
I'm
It's
personally not a
required to-
fan of building games like that. I know a lot of people love them. I just don't have the patience for it anymore.
Terraria?
Yeah, I don't have the patience for it. I just
Really?
don't. No, I don't.
Starbound?
Huh?
Starbound?
I own it. I don't have the patience to build shit. I just want to run around and shoot shit and do
But it's
missions.
Yeah,
Starbound-
see, my
and
wife
quests
is
and
like the
stuff.
queen of Terraria, though. It's
I
like
love-
I
love
bought her Terraria. I didn't see her for 2 months.
Oh, I loved it. It was so great in the beginning. It was really a wonderful new day. And then now I'm like, whatever. And Starbound, though, is a big mistake. I mean, everywhere you just go to another planet, man, you don't have to build anything. You just steal other people's stuff. It's cool. It's cool.
Huh.
Anyway, without further ado, here is the MASH theme song.
Wow.
This is at the original time signature of the guy who wrote it. It's not the right time signature.
It's not the as seen on TV, but
It's just a little slower.
that's pretty cool. So it's actually an ANSI triggered thing. So it's not like a MIDI whatever. So does it actually just take the different ANSI characters and translate those into notes? So you have like
Well-
a big long string of text.
Yeah, it is a long string of text. You can set little parameters. It follows the original ANSI spec, but when you go to 8bitmush.org or ANSIArt.com and you use the web client. It's using Flash, so it's converting that into Flash tones. But you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Let me give you one other example, and I'll turn this sound off in a few seconds. It's gonna be crazy. But this is Canon in D. I did the conversion from a MIDI file. I have like a method using DOSBox. I can do these things. I put into a mod, and then I can use PHP to rip it out. Anyway, there's this long process, but here it is. So we'll come back to it in a few minutes when it gets really good. But I don't know. It's neat to be able to play with chip tunes like that, you know.
Yeah, so
that's
I
awesome.
had a buddy that I worked with, and he was like all about, like he had MP3s of chip tunes, and that's what he'd listen to at work all day.
Why
And
not?
you know,
Why not?
he was into the resurgence. So
Here, I'm gonna send you guys. I think it's this. Yeah, Byte Beat. Do you know about this?
No.
So there's a new music movement, and it came out with HTML5. So here's the link. When you click this, it will make noise. So I'll just let you know in advance. But before you do that, let me just bring it back because it should be pretty cool now. Let me see here. It sounds about the same. Here we go. Here we go. No, it didn't do it.
damn,
you
you
can
got a
add-
digital harpsichord going on there.
It does have 3 voices, so you get all 3 voices. But anyway, you'll have to stop by 8-Bit Mush to
Yeah.
hear more.
I clicked that link, and my wife, like clear from the other side of the house, is like, you know, like WTF is going on.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, what that is Bytebeat is this type of it's called a Haskell. So it's ASKL, and you can play with it until it becomes a different sound. And I'll just
Wow.
kind of what it sounds like. All right, sorry to blow the speakers, guys.
Yeah, she was like, it sounds like it was coming out of the TV in the living room. How did you do that? I'm like, oh shit, now we're haunted. You gave me a haunted link. It must have been the acoustics in the house or whatever. I had my speakers up kind of loud, so.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it's a new movement, Byte Beats. And then
No, it was
you hear-
cool, man. I was like 14 again for a second there.
Yeah, I know. Brings you back. Well,
So it's like the only thing cooler than that is when you get the guy with like 5 1541 floppy drives and he's playing the Imperial March on them, and
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
All right, well, we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
Kind of
Thanks.
Getting tired. But, man, I want to thank you for coming on. We talked about a lot of great stuff, not just your game. So, folks, the game, though, is Fringes of the Empire. It's on Steam for $20 early access. Right now, it's kind of a mess, but it's early access, so you should know that going in. You know, it's early access. But again, this thing is going to be rewritten in the next few months and re-released in a sort of new custom engine.
it's going to be in high definition 2D.
So you can kind of buy in now and check it out and check out the lore and check out the RPG elements.
Are you going to have Oculus support?
I actually could. I actually also am a Leap Motion developer, but I don't think those things are really gonna play.
Yeah, I had one for like 5 minutes, and I was like,
what?
What? You know, it's about the size of a candy bar, and you set it behind your keyboard, and then whenever you get your hand up in front of your monitor, it's actually doing. It's almost like a Xbox Kinect, but it looks upwards and it looks at the palm of your hand and your fingers. So in theory, you can manipulate things on the screen, but I didn't really find it.
What?
Play with it, but Brian, you got to see this video of this guy playing the fiddle with his hand and a pen, and it's just amazing. Just look for
So what was actually awesome that we had the guys that did Galaxy on Fire 2, and now they've got their own company, and they're making another game that I can't remember the name of. But they were showing us a video of some of their testers, right? And they've all got like Oculus Rifts on their face, but on the front of the Oculus is a Leap Motion, just like stuck, right over your eyes on it. So what they're doing with that is they're actually, you have the Oculus on, but then the Leap Motion is actually tracking your hands. So then you can have your hands do things in the VR. And apparently they've got some deal going with Leap Motion and that, so they're like developing for it.
Man.
That's awesome. Well, they're pretty much giving away their SDK. Anybody can develop, but it's like $70 to get their dev kit. That's cool that they're going to combine those things. I don't know if you've seen the Microsoft thing where they're projecting outside your TV screen.
Yeah, I would actually like. It would be really cool to be able to play like a war game and have little army men running around my kitchen table. That's the dream, right? I kind of wonder like what the porn applications are for that though, because
I think I've seen it.
Like, well, it's like VCR, right? Betamax versus VHS. Porn determines
now
who
the stream
wins.
is okay. Yay.
So,
It's fine.
is.
Now the stream is okay. I wonder what was going on earlier. Now the
Well-
stream is fine. It's all
Well,
green
I wanted
and
to
shit.
throw this out there, Brian, since we didn't have a good time today. Maybe in a few months we can get back together.
Oh yeah, no. When the re-release and the new engine comes out, we'll definitely have you back on to revisit
that's
this.
awesome.
In fact, you can just come back every week if you'd like. We'll just
I-
make another co-host out of you.
Well, if you ever, occasionally, a couple times, that would be fine. I think you get sick of me, but I do want to say though that I do want to put As Seen on Space Game Junkie, because you guys are really keeping the torch lit on this. I know you guys love these games, and I think
Absolutely.
it's appropriate that for at least this title, Fringes, that you be mentioned in the beginning. So
Oh, I'd appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could be like crappy characters in the game, that would be even the best.
Whoa! Hey,
How about-
space games.
yeah.
Whoa, look at Brian over there. He loves the space games. Why don't you? Whoa.
Oh my God! Don't go full walking. You never.
I
go
didn't
full
know
walk.
that Hunter was the Baba Booey.
That's not the first time I've been called that.
Oh shit. Oh no. That wasn't
my
the
gosh.
intention. Oh no.
Hey, so I do have one other question, because you seem to know a wide swath of people in the game industry going way back. So I am on a quest. I want to find from Interplay the tapes from
for
Secret of
God's
Vulcan
sake.
Fury. Whenever they had the full cast of Star Trek come in and read for that game,
Jim, are
and
you
they did,
touching
like,
your
all
are
the
you
audio.
touching your nipples now? You
I
bring
am. I do this every time. But yeah, so we ended up talking to Tom, the guy that is making
Artemis.
the bridge simulator, Artemis, and he said about well, he had worked at Interplay, and I was like, oh well, I'm looking for the buried tapes, right? And he was like, well, actually, I was lead developer on that game, and it was just like, screeching tires. Whoa,
Forget
let's
Artemis.
talk about
What Artemis? We don't care
yeah, it's
about
like,
that
forget
now.
your game. Let's talk about that. So, but it's just like every time I find somebody that's fairly well connected, I'm just like, do you know where the tapes are?
Well, I've talked to Berger several times. You know who Berger is?
Mm-mm.
Berger is like, she knows Brian Fargo like the back of her hand. She's one of the original. She won the like Atari Worldwide Championship in like 1984 and was like, became a game developer and an early game programmer, and she eventually worked with Interplay, and she was integral in the development of Bard's Tale 4, and which, by the way, is I'm sorry, all Bard's Tales, but Bard's Tale 4, she's that's like her personal project, and she's very proud that it's now been kickstarted, and I'm a backer. I backed like 100 projects on Kickstarter. I love
I
it.
like how they're calling that one 4, even though there was this Bard's Tale game out a while back with Carrie Elways.
That's Bard's Tale Unmentionable.
You can catch up with that on Matt Chat. I'm sure she talks about that at some point. She was on like 5-6 episodes in a row.
I heard it wasn't a bad game.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
forget
I can't get it to run. I bought it, and I cannot get that thing to load
That's
for
sad.
whatever reason. It sucks.
Well,
Yeah, because
we have determined that Bard's
XP.
that the Bard's Tale brew or Bards is not a good brew, but If you've ever had, it's a sorghum beer. It's don't ever waste your money.
No,
But,
I will tell you the second best thing to Iron City beer is, and I only say that because you're from PA. But Hunter introduced me to this Not Your Father's root beer.
Oh my god.
You know what?
Oh,
I don't
yes.
really like that one. There's better root beers.
I don't think
Well,
I've
it's
ever
fun
had
having
it.
you on the show.
Have you ever had Telegraph, Hunter?
No, I have not.
Which is Brian the only one in California?
Yes.
Yes.
Brian, you've had Telegraph.
I've not, actually.
That is the finest brew that I've ever enjoyed.
It's a root beer or a regular beer?
No, it's a brew, but they have some. It's a beer.
Oh, okay.
But Chicago has some really great root beers that are craft root beers. I have had that recently, though. I mean, it was a root beer that had alcohol in it. I'm with you, Hunter. I understand. I just feel like there's probably a wider assortment that I haven't yet discovered.
Well,
Well,
I'm
it's
sure there
it's
is.
just
I'm
the
just-
wine cooler of beers.
Right. It just tastes so good.
All right.
I guess if you poured enough sugar in a Pabst Blue Ribbon, you'd probably
Oh.
achieve drinkable.
Oh,
But
oh.
Dissolve-
Well, the thing is, though, is
Oh,
I'm
my
a
stomach.
huge fan of the root beer float, and so I thought, man, why not have an adult root beer float? And it's a pretty good compromise for so. It's
damn,
not
dude,
bad.
that's what
I
we're
can
doing
see
when you
that.
get here
I can see-
Friday. Root beer floats. We'll have a root beer float party.
It's so awesome that you guys are hanging
That
out
actually
together.
sounds pretty good, Hunter. I just drank one and it was like I'm good about halfway through because it was too much. But
Are we gonna sit on the floor and play Nintendo too?
Yo, total dude, I got the Wii all hacked up. You're gonna have to help
Yes!
with the GameCube crap though, because I
Let's
can't.
do it.
I hacked my Wii as well.
I have not hacked my Wii yet.
It's worth doing.
Should I hack it? Should I?
Yeah,
What
but
is
be careful because you can go blind hacking.
what
the
what
Wii.
does hacking? What is hacking
I was
one's
the only
Wii?
one thinking.
What does hacking one's Wii?
Okay, so what you do is you get an SD card and you put the
Go to
current thing
Walmart
is
and get
mail
some
bomb.
KY. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to get a SD card that it likes, which is a list that it's compatible with, and then you load a thing called Mail Bomb on there, and then you open up the email, and it actually, for some reason, they have the code actually check on the SD card for saved email. I don't know why, but it presents this email, and you open it, and it's like an exploit, right? So it actually injects a loader into the console. You use that to install the homebrew channel, and then it's like a web browser, and you go in there and you actually pick things you want to download, and then you can download a mod that actually loads Wii games off of a hard drive, and then you just plug a hard drive in and stick all your stuff on it. And it also will do GameCube games if you get the secret sauce right, but I'm having trouble with that.
Well, I have Sega. I play Starflight on that. I have the Sega. Yeah, it's actually really
probably
fun.
the most refined version of Starflight you'll find is the Sega Genesis
No, it's the
version.
3DO version is actually the greatest.
Seriously?
No, I don't know. I had a girlfriend back in the day. She had a 3DO and she had Wing Commander on it.
Yeah,
Well,
Super Wing Commander for the 3DO,
Dude, who
absolutely.
was it that we had on the show that was actually the guy that ported the thing to the 3DO?
That might have been Thomas again.
No, it was a different guy.
Yeah.
This was fairly recent. This was in the last couple months.
Oh, I
And
don't
we were
remember.
talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, and I ported it to the 3DO."
Oh, yeah, I do
What?
remember someone
Yeah.
said that, but I cannot for the life of me remember who. We've had a wide
should
variety of
listen to
interesting
these
people on
shows.
this. We've had a wide variety of interesting people on this show.
You know, I watched the Wing Commander movie on
Oh,
Netflix like a month ago.
No, why did you
Okay,
do that
all right,
to
so,
yourself?
So here's the deal: go back in our archive to episode 4
For
because we had Chris Roberts on, and at the time I was doing a show called Bad Movie Podcast, right? And it was on my list, and I'm like, Chris, I have to ask you, and I'm looking in his eyes in the webcam, and I'm expecting tears, right? I'm like, Chris, I must ask you about the movie. And then he was like, well, let me tell you a story. And he went like 45 minutes down the rabbit hole.
he was
of
amazingly candid.
Everything about that movie.
He was amazingly candid about it.
Yeah, it was like, why are the Kilrathi hairless? And he's like, well, we ordered them from China, and then the Lucas had the stage, and Sony kicked them off the sound stage like they were supposed to have like months, and they gave them 2 weeks. So then they had to rush order the Kilrathi suits from China, and apparently the glue that was holding the fur on didn't bond, and they shipped them wet. So then he said they looked like they had mange. So they ended up just saying, okay, so they're Sphinx cats now, and shave them, and because they got them the morning before they had to shoot the next day.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh shit, now what, you know? So he and I came out of it with like sympathy for him completely about everything that happened on that movie, because it was just like slow motion falling down a staircase.
Yeah,
And,
it sounded pretty goddamn terrible.
Well,
but
you
he
know,
totally redeemed himself. I didn't realize that he actually made Outlander.
Oh yeah. That was
Yeah.
I
awesome.
didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Looking back at that movie is all about we made the panels realistic. That's all that movie really brought to the sci-fi genre.
No, the best thing about that movie is we have to be quiet in space. Shh. Silent running.
Well, that's because they had Jurgen Prohnchow there, and he was channeling Das Boot.
I know, but I mean, it's fucking space. Come on, there's no sound.
Yeah.
There's no sound.
Which is why I want the space submarine game.
That doesn't happen. You're gonna get
That they're
one
making.
whenever we fucking get that thing. Whenever.
Yes, I was so overjoyed. It's like they're making silent service in space.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's gonna be
yes.
exciting.
That would work. That would work in like a sponge nebula or something like that. You know, it's interesting. In space games today, you rarely see a sponge Jovian. And, you know, it's possible there could be a big water droplet floating around out there somewhere, you know? We could fly through that, you know.
A sponge Jovian.
A sponge
Is it-
Jovian is basically a styrofoam planet.
Oh, okay. Because all right, I was having a SquarePants moment there, but I'm better.
No.
And
There's cool stuff you don't
Oh,
see. Hopefully, you'll see it in the future.
Now the stream is fucking up again. All right, let's cut this. Let's
All right. Well,
fucking-
thanks.
All right.
It's been a lot of fun.
Herb,
and
thank you
it's-
so much for joining us, guys. Again, game Fringes of the Empire. It's on Steam. Check it out. It's fun. I'm having a good time with this. And again, don't be deterred if it's very early Brokey access right now. There's more coming in the next few months. So keep an eye on this one. Wishlist it or something,
Perpetually,
or buy it.
there's more to come.
Perpetually, there's more to come. That's an
Yeah.
important word. Perpetually.
All right.
My cat
Hey,
is
thanks
looking
for having
at
me, guys. It's been a lot of
Oh, our pleasure, man. We will, folks. So Thursday we were gonna play. I put it on the calendar. We were gonna play. What was it? The the Commando game.
yeah,
Republic
But-
Commando.
Yeah, Republic Commando. But you guys told me
Star
the
Wars
multiplayer.
Go Commando.
But you guys told me the multiplayer of that is shit.
Yeah,
if
it's like
just gonna be the
deathmatch
three
only.
of us, it's gonna be boring as hell.
we
You're
should
gonna want,
we should instead do Helldivers.
Yes,
We should instead do
Helldivers
Helldivers
all the time.
Yeah.
So
If you haven't played that,
if you guys haven't played Helldivers, I think we're gonna break our Star Wars streak to do some multiplayer co-op Helldivers, because that
they should
game
have called that game Schadenfreude.
that game is
Oh my god, I have not belly laughed so hard playing a game for
guys.
so
That
long.
game
I
is
was
amazing. It just came out yesterday, December 7th, and the day will live in infamy because that game came out, and that game is amazing, you guys. So we're gonna be playing that on Thursday instead of a Star Wars game. But next week, Hunter and Jim are gonna walk me through the early parts of the Old Republic, the MMO. I'm gonna dive in.
Wow, we're doing
Really?
that.
We're doing
doing
that.
this?
We're doing it.
The day that I thought would never come.
We're doing it. I'm gonna
That's
load it up
amazing.
on next Tuesday, and I'm gonna start from the very beginning on the stream, and I'm gonna flail around like a baby, and you guys are gonna help me. So it's gonna be great.
Dude, I could take you for a ride on my spaceship.
Woo!
Awesome. It's a big Sith
You
cruiser.
gonna take me for a magic carpet
Hey,
ride?
mine's a big Sith cruiser too.
Awesome. What,
Oh,
are you
you-
Sith? I thought you were a bounty hunter or something. Oh, no. Never mind.
Oh, the Sith, so fantastic.
It's the
love the
same old
Sith.
Sith every week.
Same old Sith every week. So absolutely fabulous. The Sith are.
well,
You know
and
what's
they're-
stupid about that statement? Only a Sith deals an absolute. Is that's an absolute. I want
know-
to punch the screenwriter after I heard that line.
Oh, you mean
My-
George Lucas, the The writing of a 12-year-old child? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
Megaforce
Star Killer.
had better dialogue than that. Megaforce.
Megaforce had a flying motorcycle.
It did, which is better than all 3 of the prequel movies
But
combined.
I urge you, Brian, to watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Wait, what?
Because I showed some key scenes from
Wait,
Hard
what?
Ticket to Hawaii to Hunter last night.
What?
Yeah,
Are we still recording, by the way?
Yes, we're still.
Sports
Shit.
Sniper.
Bye, guys.